What's up, YouTube? So it's your boy JB, and I'm here today with a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 12, Episode number 5. I believe this is Episode 5. If it is not, it will be corrected in the description bar. So the episode was titled The Regift That Keeps On Giving. So without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and just jump right into tonight's video. Alright, you guys, so if you notice that I might be looking to my left a little bit, it's because Watch What Happens Live is currently on right now. And Portia's on there with David Allen Greer. You guys know I love Portia. If you didn't know that, you know it now. So we're actually going to start up the episode with Portia. I was going to start with Cynthia, but Cynthia's scenes were the most, they gave a lot this episode. So we're going to start up with Portia. So Portia, we see Portia and she and baby PJ, they're going to some sort of exercise, jazzercise, some kind of class like that. And then we do see that Kenya joins them. And I have to say that I'm enjoying this dynamic between Portia and Kenya. It's nice to see those two get along with one another as opposed to being at odds with each other. And I do love, I love Portia's tagline. I've talked about these taglines before, but I absolutely love Portia's. This phoenix has risen from the ashes, and I'm saying, bye, ashes. Like, I love it. And it's a play on, season 5 when Portia told Kenya, bye, Ashy. So, I do love the dynamic between those two. So then, Portia, I think PJ got a little restless. So Portia took PJ into another room, and Kenya was like, Brooklyn, where'd your little friend go? So they go to check on, Portia and PJ. So, Kenya is talking about her relationship with Mark. I do really, really feel bad for Kenya with this relationship with Mark. I know it has to be difficult that, this is your first, you took off 1 year because of your marriage, and now you come back and your marriage is in this turmoil. But my whole thing is with Kenya's marriage, yes, we see that it's in turmoil, but I wonder if it was already in turmoil before this whole, they came back on for season 12. Like, I know it has to be a strained not strained, but a strenuous relationship, just for the fact that Kenya lives out there in Atlanta and Mark lives in New York. So I know that has to be hard enough as it is. Being technically they're still newlyweds. You guys are newlyweds, and you guys live in different states. And that, on top of that, you have a baby, so that adds more fuel to it. So Kenya was also talking about how, Mark wants Brooklyn to sleep in the bed with them. I mean, in some ways I can understand that. Some parents are overprotective and want their kids in the bed with them. My mom was like that. I think I slept with my mom until I was about, I want to say 4 or 5 years old. That's how old I was when I slept with my mama. Don't judge me. It was a mixture of my mom and I. So it was on her, but it was also on me as well, because I'm a mama's boy. So, and then, when she did put me in my room for the first time, I didn't like it. But, as I, after, the first night, and, then I got into night 2, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. I had a big bed. I was able to, move around, because that was also her complaint about me, that I sleep wild, which I do sleep wild. I would kick her. I would roll over on her. So, I mean, I understand. I do, to an extent, I understand that. But what I don't understand is when it comes to those two, the fact that they don't have a sex life. And like I said, you guys are basically newlyweds. So that's why I kind of get blurred. It's like, really? Like, I get it that he wants her in the bed, but damn, really? So then we also saw Portia. So Portia went home and Miss Diane was there. So Portia's also talking about how she needs to find a nanny because, she's going back to work at Dish and she needs somebody to watch PJ while she's at Dish because, Miss Diane has her own business that she has to run. So Portia just wants to do that. And then, she was talking about how Lauren has set up for some interviews for some nannies. And Miss Diane was like, okay, well, I want to be there when you do these interviews. She's like, okay, we'll work it out. I don't actually know if Portia has a nanny. Like I said before, you guys, I follow Portia on Instagram, so I really don't know because her post that she always posts, she is always with PJ, so I don't know. But also, she and Dennis are back together, so I'm sure Dennis is keeping the child while she's at work. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys, so let's move over to Candy. So Candy's scene might be a little short, But we saw Candy. So Candy was in New York. And if you guys don't follow her YouTube channel, she actually was, when she filmed some stuff when she was in New York for her YouTube channel, because she also was a co-host on, at the time it was Strahan and Sarah, but we now know it as Strahan, Sarah, and Kiki. She was co-hosting with Kiki Palmer while Michael Strahan was on his summer vacation, and Sarah Haynes was on maternity leave. So, she was out there for that. I have to say that apartment is amazing. So, and let's back up. So the reason that she was out there in New York is because Riley was doing a summer internship, which, like I said, she talked about this. She didn't go into deep detail about the internship, but the internship is because Riley wants to be a lawyer when she goes to college. I'm like, kudos to her. She knows what she wants to do at 16. Can I say the same? I did not know what I wanted to do at 16. I didn't even really know what I wanted to do until I got to college. And even then, I was kind of second guessing myself. But, it's good that she knows what she wants to do. And it's good that Candy has the resources for her to start doing summer internships now before she actually gets to college, because she can do an internship now to see, hey, is this really what I want to do? And once I get to college, so she doesn't have to get to college and be like, I'm doing this major, but this is not something that I really want to do. She actually has hands-on experience. I am a little bit envious of, I'm a little bit jealous of Riley, because at 16 years old, she's out there in New York in an apartment that is at least, is well over $5,000, almost $6,000 a month. Like, damn, she got it made. But what I also will say is Riley is very privileged, because she was asking about this, the refrigerator. Does it make ice? Because I'm pretty sure she's used to, I think a lot of kids today are used to those, refrigerators that makes ice, instead of, people from, like the before the 2000s, the 90s and the 80s and the 90s and so forth, where you have to make, put the water in the trays, stick the trays in a freezer, let it sit there and freeze. I was so impatient. Like one time my grandma, one time my big mama, she made some ice, and she told me, she was like, Jerome, I just put the ice in there, so it's probably not frozen. I'm like, okay, but mama, I'll see for myself. Hard-headed me went nothing but water, because it had started to freeze over, but it was nothing but water. So she was also asking about the bathtub. They were talking about cleaning her bathtub. She obviously, Riley doesn't know anything about cleaning her bathtub. She's used to having a staff come in and clean it. I'm like, oh, now I don't know how I feel about that. Like, no matter how rich or famous I get, more specifically how rich I get, I could just never sit there and let my bathtub sit dirty and not clean it. Like, at a certain point, ugh. I don't care if you take a shower or if you just take a regular bath. The dirt is just gonna sit there. Ugh. But let's move on. But that was basically it for Candy this week. All right, you guys. So next we're gonna talk about Nene. Now I do know that I have some subscribers out there who do like Nene, and I'm not gonna sit here and bash Nene, because like I've said before, I was a fan of Nene, but up until recently I'm not. And the reason why I say that I'm not a big fan of hers is because of the fact that I feel like, her ego has gotten really big. Like, she thinks she's that chick, which I'm not gonna knock her. She is the original housewife, but she has to, the show has survived without her on the show before. She wasn't on the show season 9, and she was barely there for season 8. She didn't come into like almost the tail end of season 8. So the show has survived without her. So granted, she is one of the original housewives of Atlanta. But much like with, Vanderpump, uh, Vicky Gunvalson, who else? Vicky Vanderpump, Teresa, who else? I'm trying to think of these other households. Vanderpump, Teresa, Bethany Frankel. New York has survived without Bethany Frankel, and New York would continue to survive without Bethany. So yeah, like Teresa, Vicky, Vanderpump, all of them. The shows will survive without them. Even I feel like, a lot of people, and I see them tweet this all the time. If you guys don't watch The Real Housewives of Dallas, you should watch Dallas. Dallas is actually a really great franchise. But I see a lot of people out talking about, oh, if Leanne from Real Housewives of Dallas were to leave, there would be no Real Housewives of Dallas. I disagree. Those women do a fantastic job with the show. They're great women, all with the exception of one, who I'm not gonna mention, but all of them hold their own ground. So, yeah, a lot of these HBIC titles is just something in your head that the fans come up with and say, hey, you're the queen, which I'm not gonna knock them. You guys, you guys did. Some of you did start this platform from the beginning, but you have to give credit to other people. Like you have to get with Atlanta. Yes, Nene is the queen. The queen bee, the one that kind of got Atlanta started. So I'm not gonna knock her, but with Atlanta, you have Portia, who has held her own for the last, I want to say at least the last 4 years of this show. Portia has been the fan favorite, except for that season, with Dungeon Gate. But Portia has been a fan favorite. Kenya, even though I hadn't liked her up until now, Kenya has been a fan favorite. Candy is a fan favorite. So yes, Nene can say she started this franchise, but she has to give credit to the other women as well. Just saying. But let's just go ahead and get into it because I've ranted about Nene. But so Nene is back from New York and she has Marlo coming over. So, Marlo comes in and Marlo's like, oh, so this is an apology dinner. She was like, no. So Nene's whole thing with Marlo was the fact that she felt like Marlo was just digging. Marlo wasn't. Now, I don't really advocate for Marlo too much, but on this situation, I'm gonna advocate for Marlo because Marlo wasn't really coming at you strong or nothing. All Marlo was saying was that she had a conversation with Cynthia, and she feels like both of you are in wrong, and that both of you need to sit down, talk to the other, apologize to the other. So she wasn't saying that it was all on Nene, and she wasn't saying that it was all on Cynthia. I don't know how Cynthia understood it, but Nene didn't understand it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But then we also see that Giovanna comes over. I'm like, oh my God. I'm Giovanna. I was that bitch at Clark Atlanta. Like, no one knew you, obviously. So you must not have been that bitch. So, so Marlo is also talking about how she wants for Cynthia and Nene to clear the air. Nene is in agreement with that. She and Cynthia need to sit down and clear the air. So then Giovanna takes it upon herself to say, hey, I met up with Cynthia at her wine cellar, and Cynthia had a lot of shit to say about you. Like, she said that, you're a toxic friend. Being friends with you was toxic. It was a burden. I can understand that, and I can see it. And then Nene is like, there's a different side to Cynthia, a side that you guys don't see. And here's my thing, and I even tweeted this. If there's a side of Cynthia that we haven't saw, Cynthia has been on this show since what, season 4? 3? No. Cynthia's been on this show since season 3 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So in that time period, why have we not saw this supposed side of Cynthia that Nene is talking about? What we have saw about Cynthia is that Cynthia is messy as shit. We've definitely saw that. We saw that season when she got into it with Phaedra about the whole Mr. Chocolate thing. We definitely see the messy side of Cynthia. But this whole, whatever side that Nene wants to say, we've never saw that side. Or more specifically, I've never saw it. You guys might have saw it. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. But I've just never saw this side of Cynthia that Nene wants to portray. But let's move on. All right, you guys. So let's talk about Miss Bailey. So we see Cynthia. She's at her crib, and she calls Portia up. So she's telling Portia that she's having another one of her Bailey Qs. If you guys don't remember last season's Bailey Q, that was the one where Shamari admitted to having a threesome. The Pastor Peach, when they were saying that Eva didn't remember her shade about her saying that Shamari needed style, which it really wasn't Shamari that said it. It was actually Portia. Portia passed the peach to Eva, who then passed the peach to somebody else. So it really was Portia, but nobody pointed that out. I think I did in my video last year. That was actually really Portia. Portia was the one that got the question, but Portia didn't want to answer the question. But that's neither here nor there. So the theme of this year's party is wear red or get red, and to bring their favorite dish. So then Cynthia told Portia that she would like for her to come babyless. But Portia's like, I don't really have a nanny right now, so that might not be an option for me. And then she tells Portia that everyone is coming with the exception of Nene. So then we also saw Kenya. So Kenya was being super duper petty because Candy came with her. Her and Candy went together, and Candy, she showed Candy the gift that Eva gave her. She's re-gifting the gift and giving it to Portia. I'm like, oh, that is shady. If you guys do not watch Beverly Hills, if you guys have never watched Beverly Hills, this is very reminiscent, almost reminiscent of what they call Bunnygate. Go on YouTube after the video and look up Bunnygate. I don't know if I think it's on. It should be on YouTube. So what happened with Bunnygate is hilarious. So if you guys, like I said, if you guys are not familiar with Beverly Hills, number one, familiarize yourself with Beverly Hills, because I might review Beverly Hills since Garcelle Bouvet is going to be on there. I'm thinking about reviewing it just because of her, because she's the first African American on the cast. But Bunnygate. So Bunnygate was a few seasons ago. I can't remember exactly which season it was, but two of the cast members who do not like each other. I mean, they kind of make up with each other, but Kim Richards. God, I really do feel bad for Kim Richards, because I think Kim Richards is back on drugs, or she's back to drinking alcohol, and she always claims that she's sober, but at BravoCon she just did not look sober to me. Like, Kim Richards did not look sober, but that's neither here nor there. So Kim Richards and Lisa Rinna got into it the whole season, and Kim's daughter was pregnant with her child, and Lisa Rinna gifted her a bunny, and at the reunion, she gave the bunny back to Rinna, and Rinna had one sole tear come down. I died laughing. It was funny. So actually, at the reunion, Andy took the bunny. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna take the bunny, put it in the clubhouse. So if you guys ever watch What Happens Live, you can actually see the bunny, because you can always see that bunny. But if you guys just take a look at Watch What Happens Live, you would definitely see the bunny from Bunnygate. But so then let's move to the party. So at the party, at the Bailey Q, everyone is there. Eva was the first one to show up. Now, I love Eva to death because I've been a fan of her since America's Next Top Model, Cycle 3. But I don't know why she has to be so shady to everybody. Because I wasn't really receptive to this shade that she threw at Kenya. Because, Cynthia was telling Eva how she told Kenya not to bring Brooklyn, but then she allowed for Portia to bring PJ, but then she called Kenya back to tell Kenya she could bring PJ, not PJ, but Brooklyn, and Kenya was like, it's all good, girl. I got taken care of. Thanks. Bye. And then, Eva shaded her age about having a baby, like waiting late in life to have a baby. I 100% was not, I didn't agree with that. I thought that was very, very tacky. Like, Janet Jackson had a baby at 50. And also, my mom, although she was not my biological mother, my mom had, she got me when she was 49 years old. And I'd be damned if anybody ever talks about her, because I will defend her to the end of the time. Like, so what, she chose, to raise a child at 49. That was her business. If you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. Like, for real. So I didn't agree with that. And let's talk about this real quick. So I know a lot of people were upset about the fact that Eva called the girls nappy-headed. I haven't talked about that, but I want to talk about it now. Because on Watch What Happens Live last week, when Nene was on there with Kelly Rowland, Andy asked a viewer question of Nene to say three things nice about Kenya. She talked about her contacts, and then she said she had a nice grade of hair. So if we're talking, if people got upset about the whole nappy-headed thing, shouldn't people be upset about the whole good grade of hair thing? And that's just a simple question. I don't know. I wasn't offended. I mean, I think Eva did use a poor choice of words with the nappy-headed comment, but also for Nene to say a good grade of hair, she's talking about the woman's hair. Like, And her edges, when is the last time Nene saw her edges? Let's be honest. Just saying. But, so let me know how you guys felt about that as well. Um, so we see all the girls, so they all finally make it. They're catching up with what's going on in each other's lives. Candy tells about, Riley being in New York. And then somebody asked, I think it was Candy who asked Cynthia, was Marlo coming? She said, yeah, although I didn't invite Nene, I did invite Marlo to come. So, so then they also start to talk about this, it was Eva and Cynthia talking about the video that, Nene did about that interview about Cynthia, what kind of friend she was. And Giovanna was like, well, I think that with Nene, she was just upset about the fact that she feels like you cater more to Kenya. And Kenya and Cynthia were like, what? No, that is not the case. And number two, she said she did not know that Kenya was even coming to that party. And number three, it was her party. If she wanted Kenya to come to her party, that's what she wanted. Nene cannot dictate or tell anybody who cannot come to their party. Like, grow the fuck up. Like, I'm over here. I'm so tired of hearing about this goddamn party. Like, I'm so over that shit. Grow the fuck up, please. But I do love how the fact that Cynthia read, she shut that shit down with Giovanna. Because Giovanna was like, when we went to the wine cellar, you talked Cash Money shit about Nene. She says, no, I was not talking shit about Nene. What I was doing was I was just telling you from my perspective how it felt to be a friend to Nene. So nobody came for you, nobody checked for you, nobody dug you up out of the grave, nobody did nothing to you. So you might want to calm that shit down. I'm like, yes, Bailey, read that ass. Rita, please. So then we see Kenya. So once Portia shows up with PJ and Shamia and Lauren, Kenya's like, oh, let me go get this gift. And she go get it and she gives it to Portia. So Portia's like, she's like, oh, this baby had a new home, another home before. Portia's like, wait a minute. What home does she have? Then she finally figures it out. She's like, wait a minute. This is that damn doll that Eva gave you. And she was like, yeah. She's like, Eva gave it to me and it felt like it had some bad vibes to it. So I just want to give it to you because it shouldn't have any bad vibes for you. And Portia's like, that is shady, Kenya. And I think that you and Eva should have a conversation. So, she goes out there where Eva is and she tells her, like, girl, you and Kenya need to talk. She's like, what about this doll? She's like, yes. She's like, what's the issue? Portia's like, she gave me the doll. That's the issue. So then they do have a conversation, and the conversation was going a little left with those two, because, I really couldn't understand the conversation, to be quite honest with you. It made it made a little sense to me whereas Kenya is coming from, because Kenya has not done anything to Eva, but here's Eva not owning up to the things that she said. Now, granted, she did not say that, Kenya had bad energy, but what she said was, she didn't know how the girls were going to react at this party. Like, it is a kid's party. What do you expect them to do? Throw a glass in your child's face? Cut your child? Kick your child? Punch your child? Spit on your child? Now that's my question. What did Eva really expect for these ladies to do? Honest question. What did you expect for these women to do? When there's security right there, there's a camera crew right there, what the fuck were you expecting, Eva? Please explain that shit to me. So then Marlo shows up. Marlo had on a terrible ass wig. I was just looking at that wig the whole time like, what the hell is that shit on your head? What is it? Is it what is it? Is it roadkill? Please explain it to me. Now, then they started going on Cynthia. I can understand where they were coming from, because they're talking about when it comes to Cynthia, she's been friends with Nene and she's friends with Kenya. Two very outspoken and two very vocal people, whereas Cynthia is kind of docile and meek. And I'm not even going to say that she's really docile and meek. I think that Cynthia is cool, calm, collected, and reserved. But she says, whenever I want to put you in your place, I have no problem doing it. And Portia's like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. Now, here's the thing. Cynthia and Kenya got into it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Where did this come from? But I mean, I do see what the girls are saying. It feels like when it comes down to Cynthia Cynthia has these, like I said, outspoken friends who will say what maybe she might be thinking or feeling. So then also, Marlo and Eva got into a conversation. And I'm so happy that Eva said what a lot of people think. Marlo says a lot of stuff, but some of the stuff that Marlo says is actually really mean and hurtful. And then Marlo says, well, I said the stuff that, I say the stuff that I feel like you don't say the stuff that you want to say. I'm like, where'd you get that from with Eva? Because if you forget, Eva read the shit out of you last season on that bus in Tokyo. Because she read the fuck out of your ass. But, that's neither here nor there. And then lastly, to close it out, they gave out some awards. The best twerker, I know they went to Shamia. The best reader went to Kenya. The thirstiest went to Giovanna, who trying to say it was Tanya. I don't believe that. Marlo got an award. I forgot what it was for. And then they talked about their insecurities. And I really did feel bad for Kenya because Kenya started talking about her insecurities. The thing with Kenya is Kenya just wants unconditional love. And I know she has it with Brooklyn, but I feel like she wants it from a man as well. And I like I said, I do feel bad for Kenya. When it comes to Kenya, I want Kenya to, sit down with a psychiatrist, a therapist, somebody. Because Kenya's issues stem from her mother. And I just want her to sit down with somebody and just put that out loud on the table. Because Kenya doesn't feel loved because her mother did not show her the love and affection that she wanted so badly her entire life. And that's why I feel bad for Kenya. Like I said, I just want her to sit down and have a conversation with somebody about that. Like, I understand, I know where she's coming from, and I've come to the conclusion in my life to let my birth mother be. She and we can be cool and cordial, but I don't need that. I think that's what it is. Kenya wants validation from her mother. I don't need validation from my mother. And Kenya had her grandmother who loved her, who raised her, and she got her auntie Cisco, as my girl is Rox calls her. So, I think Kenya needs to just sit down with that and realize that although she did not have her mother, she did have people in her life who loved her. And once Kenya stops chasing that love from her mother, Kenya will be fine. Because I'm at that point in my life where I'm not, because when my mom and my grandmother both passed away, I had to ask myself, what am I looking for? Because I'm not looking for anything from my birth mother. Is that I was trying to find my dad. And I had to ask myself, what am I looking for him for? Am I trying to replace the two people who raised me? And when I told myself no, I was like, cool, I can let it go. It don't mean nothing to me. And it doesn't mean anything to me. And that's been 3 years. That's been almost 3 years ago since my mom passed away. So I'm not worried about it. But you guys, that was the episode. Be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, share the video, hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything. And I will catch you guys later for Married to Medicine.